I really didn't want to just pick a random angle for this, so I took a little bit of time to experiment using my bevel gauge. And then I carefully marked out the shape on some sapele. Why sapele? Well, I wanted the strength and, who am I kidding? I wanted it to look nice. And I also wanted to use my spoke shave, all of which is totally unnecessary, but after all, this is a workshop win, so you have to enjoy what you're doing. And I really do want to enjoy the build, as well as the functionality it's going to provide me later. So after a little bit more hand and power tool shaping, I cut what I'm starting to call the wand away from the block to get a feel for the angle. It felt okay, but only okay. And while holding it, I actually had a brainwave, a way to add to the control and to add another function to it. But my biggest concern was that attaching something to your hand that could be dragged in a surprising direction by a blade, be it a table or bandsaw, that would add a dangerous twist to the tool, potentially breaking fingers or worse, dragging them where they shouldn't be. So when building this, I've always had the plan that this will just fly off your hand in those kind of circumstances. So nothing's actually fixed to you itself, which I think is why the pencil is such a good option to start with. But I still think this could be better. And while it cures, I need to make something that's going to work better than an eraser. But not for erasing, for grip, control and durability. And that's where this nitrile cork comes in. It is my go-to for homemade tools. I decided just to layer up some of this nitrile cork so that I could eventually cut a tip from it. If you're worried about where to get the nitrile cork from, I'll leave you a couple of links down below. It's not that expensive. And the next couple of bits are unnecessary, but I do quite like to make my tools quite tactile. So I've just filed down the end of the wand to make a smaller roundish radius so that the tip could be made flush with the wand itself. And then as I was worried about the strength of the glue joint on the wand, I actually went back and quickly drilled a dowel into it to hold it a little bit tighter. And then taking a drill bit slightly smaller than the tip of the wand, I drilled into the nitrile cork block. This is going to give me a nice snug fit when the rubber has to stretch a little when the tip of the wand is actually pushed into it. And then I just trimmed it up and glued it into place. And with a little bit of hard wax oil finish, the wand is ready to test. If you imagine I'm drilling in this area here, then I'm holding down here. This piece of wood is nicely firmly fixed onto the table. So before I get torn apart in the comments, does this replace these? No, absolutely not. Is it a handy tool to have around? Yeah, with a few tweaks, I think it is. But most importantly, was it a fun concept to come up with to solve a problem that may not actually exist? Is it a workshop win? I think so. I enjoyed the build. It didn't take too long. Didn't cost me anything more than a bit of scrap wood. I would call that a workshop win. Now, if I could just find a way not to lose it. That's probably not possible.